Yeah. A little bit.
Yo, Swab. You ready?
Let go.
Let go.
Don't be no ho-ho.
Go ahead.
Don't be no half-ho.
Yo.
Don't be no ho-ho.
Hey.
Don't be no half-ho.
Hey.
Don't be no ho-ho.
Hey.
Don't be no half-ho.
Hey.
Don't be no ho-ho. Don't be no half-ho. Hold up. Hold up. Hold up. Hold up. Hold up. It's tournament time again, Randy. Yeah. Wish you be Jack.
WYBA.
TAFN.
I am Wood.
You stay classy, internet. I'm Suave Burgundy.
Broken Pencil Booking Company, Pro Wrestling Podcast and Radio Show infused with hip hop presents to you another BPBC tournament.
Infused.
Infused with hip hop.
You bet.
Let me kill that, man. Man, that's that turn up right there for real.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
it's like tech trap.
It's like the best thing that happened to me seeing that is the fact that it says royalty free. So like I'm good.
Factual. You know? Well, if it's royalty free, then yeah, we should probably just record the tournament intro with that.
That is the tournament intro. We just did it.
No, I'm saying for all tournaments from here
on out. I guess I'll save it to the playlist. That's gonna be the one. That's it. Yo, we've done so many tournaments, and we got a couple in the can for you listeners. So you don't know what we've done and what we haven't done. You just know that when you hear it, it's going to be fresh and new to you. Like this one is.
You just know we're doing it.
Yeah.
Just know that whatever it is you think, except for that PAFN activity,
what's that?
we doing it. You know what I'm saying? We're doing everything but PAFN activity. WYBA.
You know what I'm saying? So that said, this one here is going to be a little special. We've been waiting for this one for the right time to do this one. No better season than WrestleMania season to do a WrestleMania Curtain Jerkers tournament.
Part of the Road to Broken Pencil Knowledge Tournament Series.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's a whole. It's like this is a completely other celebrate. So we have IMOC, which is a whole celebrate.
Yes, it is a whole celebrate, not a half, but a whole celebrate entire pie chart.
We also have Swavetoberfest, which is also a whole celebrate.
Not a half celebrate, a whole pie chart. and bar graphs.
And Broken Pencil Knowledge Tournament Series is also a whole celebrate.
Man, it's just look pretty soon you're not gonna be able to stop us from celebrating.
It's a celebration, bitches.
Yes, it's a celebration of a celebratory nature.
You know what I'm saying? So all that said, we about to get into it here.
Yeah.
And we're going to get into the motions, if you will. I need to find some random on this.
Wait, what?
No.
Find some random.
Wait.
No,
that is not,
brother. That is not how we do things here.
I am a married man, sir.
we are the epitome of black men don't cheat. I am not about to get caught up in that nonsense. I am doing too well in life with the path that I have chosen.
I prefer to stay that way.
You feel me? Don't be out here with that old PAFN stuff.
Hey, slow up.
Slow up that PAFN talk.
Hold on 1 second, man. There we go.
God. It's rough out here, bro.
There we go. Now we're in business. Okay. You save the settings. All right. Okay, cool. Now, all this nonsense out the way. Yeah. We have ourselves quite the tournament here. We've already done the randomizing. We've already selected the brackets. We have, just like with any other tournament that has more than 32 players in it, we have play-ins. So, going through all of the WrestleManias, there are
everyone that's ever happened.
Well, let's back up. Define curtain jerker for those not in the know.
First match out of the gate of the actual pay-per-view. That means not a dark match, not a pre-show. When the show starts, after you get the WWE intro, The then, now, and forever.
The $250,000 FBI fine warning.
Right, or the classy Freddie Blassie promo, all the way up until after they hit the the first match after that. The first time you hear Howard Finkel, the first match on the actual pay-per-view card is what we're referring to as the air quotes curtain jerker. We're only using that because it's a fairly known term, but all it means is the first match out. It's the tempo setter. You're setting the tempo for the rest of the show with an entertaining spectacle. It's become more of a prestigious spot as modern wrestling has evolved, but also, even going back to all old school, first match, you're setting the tone. So you want to put somebody out there that the people like, somebody that can work. Let's get some business in. Let's start them off on the right foot.
I don't know if it was more of a theatrical term or more of a musical venue term, but it was used before professional wrestling as well. So I do know, like, if you're on stage as a performer, the first person out, even in comedy, the first person out is the curtain jerker. So,
or what we would call it when we were doing a lot of different tour stuff, or anytime we were the first act up in any sort of showcase, we were the icebreaker.
There's that. So whatever you call it, we call it the curtain jerker. This is the curtain jerkers tournament. Now,
and just like in wrestling, it was our job to make sure you couldn't follow it. Regardless of where you put us on, it was our job to make sure, okay, nobody else can follow this.
When you leave off after you're jerking the curtain, your next words backstage should be "top that."
Mm-hmm.
And that's the idea behind this. So we will rank them in order of how we feel. Now I rank them. We will put them in the battle. Two matches enter, one match leaves each round.
To fight to the death.
So there's
single elimination fight to the death.
There's a play-in round, and then we have our round of 32. So the play-in. So we're looking at 39 matches. Why 39? And there's only 36 WrestleManias. Well, I'll tell you, Pencil Neck Geeks, why.
Yikes! Wait a minute. You ain't dropping nobody on a stack of dimes. What are you doing?
You said Freddie Blassie, so I decided to go ahead and throw in a Pencil Neck Geek reference.
Carry on.
WrestleMania 2 had 3 venues. Each venue had an opening match.
Factual.
So in theory, the very first match will be the curtain jerker. However, if you were in attendance in one of the other 2 venues besides, like if you were either Nassau Coliseum, LA, or Chicago, you could argue that your match was more important based on time zone or based on the quality of the match. We gave all 3 equal credence.
So does that mean that WrestleMania 2 was the first ever triple threat match?
I'm going to say no to that.
Okay, all right. I just thought I'd ask. I'll be trying to connect some history here, but yeah.
And then also WrestleMania 36 last year, it took place on 2 nights. So the first night had a curtain jerker, the second night had a curtain jerker. Same thing's going to happen this year. You
got to respect it.
So whenever we revisit this tournament, which will probably be like 88 years from now, we'll look like the old men that coming to America. And
now what we can do after we've completely worked out the first 39, you can take the winner of today's tournament and match it against the first match of every WrestleMania going forward.
Well, there's that. So yeah, so
just you're defending the championship against the next matchup.
So all this explaining, it sounds like we're copping pleas. You ready to get this thing underway?
Absolutely. We ain't copping no pleas. We're just trying to make sure everybody is up to speed.
All right, so here goes nothing.
Let's get it.
Your first match in this tournament pits the opener from WrestleMania 12, which is the British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith, Owen Hart, and Big Van Vader, or Vader as he's called at this point, versus Jake the Snake Roberts, Yokozuna, and Ahmed Johnson. That's all right, hold on. That's match 1, WrestleMania 12, versus WrestleMania 6, Rick Martel versus Coco Beware.
What all criteria are we using today? Favorite match, obviously 1.
Match quality
2.
Actually, I would say match quality would be the standard bearer. I mean, because why not? It's a curtain jerker. Favorite match. And long-term impact.
Okay, same as always.
So those are the three. Of these two matches, I'm going to easily say that there was no long-term impact for either one because Coco Beware is known for just losing at WrestleMania.
Yoko was essentially close to on his way out.
Yes.
Jake obviously on his second or third tour of duty.
And at this point, this is Save Jake on his way to. Matter of fact, wasn't this the year that Austin 316 was born?
Yep. This is March of '96. Austin 316 is like what, June or July
same
year.
At an In Your House at King of the Ring.
Yeah, this is the precursor. King of the Ring. So yeah, this is the precursor. This is his second tour of duty. Kind of still battling demons. Obviously not in the same shape that you saw him in previously when he left WWE in like 1992. Yeah, this is pre-push for Ahmed Johnson, so he's not Intercontinental Champion yet. Going over Goldust. That also happens at King of the Ring, 96.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
But Yoko is pretty much on his way out at this point.
Yeah. So here's the crazy thing.
Then Vader still has his push to come later in 96 because he ends up main eventing SummerSlam this year. It seemed like almost everybody is like half of the match came up, the other half was on their way out.
But do we even care about either one of these matches?
The answer is no.
So the long-term impact, no. There's no long-term impact to either one of these. But I will say my favorite of the two would be Bulldog Owen Vader and versus Yoko, Jake, and Ahmed Johnson.
Well, I would say there's more long-term impact for the participants of 12 because most of them went on to have either really good pushes coming right out after that, or they were on their way off of television altogether.
Let's keep it a buck. We have 5 Hall of Famers in Ahmed Johnson.
And then there's that.
So, moving on to the next round, we have Bulldog.
Dude, there you have it.
All right, so there's that. I guess that would be long-term impact is like your viability as of a career. Going to the next match from X7. Chris Jericho, Y2J versus William Regal. I'm sorry, I'm taking it back to the 80s, 90s versus William Regal, and Bradshaw versus Finley in a Belfast brawl, and from WrestleMania 24.
If it was 98, it would be Steven Regal, a real man's man.
This is a fact.
Anytime I get a chance to hear that music, I'm always in support. He's a man.
I akin that debut to that of the reemergence of Brodus Clay.
Man,
like no one was expecting to see that, and it was just like he was a man's man. Everyone called him a man's man because he's legit. He's legit.
He's bare knuckle fighting since 15. Like he really will get out there with you. Like,
but to see someone be called a man's man and just put him in flannel and in a beanie after he had gained 30 pounds.
Whose idea was to turn him into a lumberjack? Like, what are we doing?
To have a lumberjack match, you have 15 of him around the ring.
Like, bruh, like you gave him a hard hat and jorts and a flannel cutoff shirt and some Timbs.
So like, is he chopping wood or is he working in a mine? Like, what is going on?
Fam, I don't know who Creative Services failed us on that one.
Man. So
it's like they gave us undying comedy, but they failed Steven Regal right then.
Now, long-term viability, all 4 of these gentlemen here are just absolutely just, I mean, as far as their careers were concerned, as far as the matches went, Bradshaw and Finlay was a hell of a feud because at this time in Finlay's career, Finlay was on his way out. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, he didn't have feeling in one of his feet, right? At this point?
Finlay?
Yeah.
I'm almost certain that's the case.
I want to say he didn't have feeling in one of his feet, which ultimately led to his retirement. But at the same time, this was the only time in his career where he actually was teasing a championship run. Like, he was involved in championship storylines around Bradshaw and Finlay during like 24 up to right before the Rumble at 25, before WrestleMania 25. And
I think he did a Money in the Bank or something like that. I don't really remember him getting like championship storyline. I just remember he was camera time.
Yeah, go back.
I remember him getting camera time with Vince, do the whole Hornswoggle thing.
Yeah, so I mean, there was still like he actually was involved in some championship storylines. Like, and there even may have been like a match where he may have been like a subject in a multi-man title match or something. But he was involved in championship storylines. He was involved in multiple main events on SmackDown during that time. Meanwhile,
SmackDown was rough.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Regal was Regal. Like, no matter how far he is down the card, you watch the Regal match. It didn't matter. Jericho.
There's always a possibility of somebody getting stretched.
Yes, Jericho. Not known for being at this time, not known for being one of the tougher guys to ever cross into the ring. In fact, the story was popping up that he was he got stretched out so bad by Stu Hart in the dungeon that he left the dungeon and never graduated.
Yikes!
And so they were talking about this during that time frame. So let me have it. I'm going to say my favorite of the two matches is going to be the Belfast Brawl, simply because it's a no holds barred opener versus a wrestling match. Now, if you're a wrestling fan, you can't go wrong with Regal, but Jericho went over.
I'm going to tell you why 24 wins. No one's going to remember this until you go back and watch it. And it's a really, really petty thing to use as a victory.
I'm here for it. Let's go.
But during that match, there is a trash can that had already been used that it was then thrown from the ring by Bradshaw and hit Hornswoggle as a shoot. I mean, dead accurate, right on torso, knocked him off his feet. That alone, when you have two people the level of stiff that Finlay and Bradshaw are,
I'm about to choke on my coffee with that one.
24 has to get the Duke, even though I like everything. I like Regal. I like old Jericho. I'm pretty sure this match is pretty dope too. But yeah.
Regal had a couple of openers that's going to be in this tournament, but and I'm interested in watching those. But yeah, I think Bradshaw Finlay gets the Duke in this one here. Let's go to our next match. WrestleMania 13, the Headbangers versus Phineas. Versus Phineas and Henry O. Godwin versus Blackjack Bradshaw and Blackjack Wyndham, the new Blackjacks, versus Doug Furnas and Phil LaFon. From WrestleMania 13 versus WrestleMania 32, Dallas, Arlington, at Cowboy Stadium. Zack Ryder, Kevin Owens, Dolph Ziggler, Stardust, Miz, Sami Zayn, and Sin Cara in a U.S. title ladder match to open it up. Easily, hands down, I'm going 32. But not to be poo-pooed, WrestleMania 13, this is the first time we actually had a four-way match on a WrestleMania card. And possibly the first time we had a four-way match that we've ever seen.
I mean, that's cool and all, but I was there for 32, so I'm taking the ladder match.
Because, bitch, Texas. WrestleMania 7, The Rockers versus Haku and the Barbarian. And then WrestleMania 3, we had the Can-Am Connection, which is Rick Martel and Tom Zink versus Bob Orton Jr. and Don Morocco. I'm going to go with 7.
Yeah, I remember 7. The Rockers worked a really good match here.
And they got beat up. Haku and Barbarian pulled no punches on this one, man. you saw how big the Barbarian really was, like, because Barbarian had only been in the NWA/WCW, and by the time that he shows up on WWF television, and you put him with Bobby the Brain Heenan, and then you match him up with Haku, like this team becomes the Powers of Pain, one of the greatest tag teams, or one of the toughest tag teams in the history of professional wrestling, and this is before they even had that name, Powers of Pain. They were just Haku and the Barbarian.
Powers of Pain is Barbarian and Warlord.
Oh, Warlord. I'm sorry. Look at me fucking up.
But this is the first time you see the Faces of Fear before they was.
Thank you, Faces of Fear. Yes. Now, but you see, Barbarian was one of the bigger guys to ever go from the NWA to the WWF and still look like a bigger guy. It was all because he was in the ring against the Rockers. Meanwhile, Rick Martel is a great. Tom Zink, Bob Orton Jr. Hall of Famer, Don Morocco Hall of Famer. So but that match meant nothing. But you did build up the long-term toughness and viability of Haku and Barbarian, while also putting the stamp on the Rockers coming over from the AWA, which at the time no one cared about them coming from the AWA, but the whole reason why they came from the AWA, same reason Hogan did. They couldn't get over with the straps.
In real life, no commercials, like they passed off Barbarian and Haku kind of as a makeshift team because they were both members of the Heenan family, but they never put any type of emphasis on the fact like these guys are cousins.
Man.
It never came up.
It wasn't often that even like became part of storylines anyway back then, unless you came into the business as a family unit.
That part, so factual.
Next round, WrestleMania 5. King of the Ring at this time, Haku versus Hercules Hernandez, who by WrestleMania 5 had dropped the Hernandez and had left the Heenan family, which is part of this whole storyline. Versus WrestleMania 23, Money in the Bank ladder match. King Booker, Matt and Jeff Hardy, Finlay, and there's your world title tie-in right there here as well. So he had a nice little run, Finlay did. Edge, CM Punk, and Mr. Kennedy.
Wait for it.
Kennedy. Yeah, so this goes without saying. You had so much talent. Like everybody in this match is a Hall of Famer, Finlay included. I'm going with 23. It's hard to beat brutality when you open up the card with it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. As far as captivating a crowd, getting them ready for what's going to go on, keeping them engaged. I mean, a Money in the Bank ladder match, like it, because of what we know about it now, a Money in the Bank ladder match isn't just a match unto itself. It could be storytelling and a precursor for the end of the show.
Number one. 2, this match and the match at 25 became... Oh, these were the catalyst for the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, which we'll talk about the match at 25 here shortly. But yeah, this is what begot the match or the pay-per-view that is now Money in the Bank.
Right. So much that it became you had to have some type of ladder match, and once they created the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, they just started replacing it with whatever the secondary title was, usually like Intercontinental Championship. But whatever the secondary title was, that's what was going up.
No doubt. WrestleMania X8, RVD versus Regal. Here's Regal again.
I mean, Regal got a tough draw this time. I can tell you, this ain't gonna make it. 2
years in a row. This conversation won't be long at all. Versus WrestleMania 10, Owen and Brett.
I mean, Regal and RVD are two of my favorite personalities in all of wrestling, but I mean, classics are classics for a reason.
Yeah, and I mean, and the storyline with Owen versus Brett, brother versus brother, who wins better? Owen wins with the roll up, and Brett goes on to win the title at the end of the end of the pay per view.
four Hall of Famers, which actually shut up SummerSlam of that year because Owen's like, look, I beat the champion already. I deserve a title match.
So you have
perfect logic, great storytelling. And then Owen comes out at the end, standing in the aisle saying it should have been me. It should have been me. It's like, bro, this is, even for 94, this is good. This would have been good in 98, would have been good in 2008.
It'd be good now.
2018 and current.
Straight up. All right, so now we go into the play-in round is complete. We go into the actual tournament. We have 32 matches. 32 matches are going to come in. Oh, no, we got one more round. One more. We got one more. All right. WrestleMania 20. John Cena versus Big Show for the U.S. title. And WrestleMania 28, Sheamus versus Daniel Bryan, 18-second match. For me, for my money, and this is arguable, I'm going with Sheamus versus Daniel Bryan. The one thing that stands out about Cena versus Big Show is this is Cena's first WrestleMania and it's Cena's first title victory.
So that's exactly why I'm going 20.
Whew. What's your long-term impact is definitely going to go, because we talking about this is the beginning of his career, man.
we talking about Cena's first United States title reign, leading to what Cena became. So long-term impact.
7 months later, we get the spinner belt.
You feel what I'm saying?
So in the 7 months later, the same year.
Wait. No. You're right, because we do get the U.S. spinner belt. Right. Go ahead.
Yes, the U.S. spinner belt was in November, prior to Survivor Series. And
so this is also the beginning of a lot of merch being sold. This is prime word life Cena. So we're selling T-shirts, we're selling hats. We're pumping up Reeboks. We got 4-finger rings. We're selling spinner replica belts, and we're moving forward. Like, hey, the Cena money train is pulling off from the station here.
All right, so long-term impact is definitely John Cena. The better match is definitely Cena versus Big Show. However, let me go ahead and plead my case for Sheamus versus Bryan because Cena and Big Show is going to advance. But I've said this long ago. One of the best opening matches for long-term impact is going to be this 18-second loss by Daniel Bryan to Sheamus for the World Heavyweight Championship. And the reason for that being is over a 2-year span from this match begets the Yes Movement. The Yes Movement literally shakes the ground under the Royal Rumble, under how the Royal Rumble winner goes to WrestleMania, which Daniel Bryan was not the Royal Rumble winner, but he went on to WrestleMania, played in, which we'll talk about later on, played into WrestleMania with a curtain jerker, and also shut down WrestleMania with one of the biggest reactions to end WrestleMania since the Hogan era.
I'm with you. I'm with you with the progression of the storytelling. However, we're using 28 as the reasoning for 30, and the entire run. If you start from 28 to the time Daniel Bryan had to take a knee and relinquish the title, we're talking about 2.5 years,
3.
maybe.
It's about 3 because he was at 31 as well.
I mean, but he had already relinquished the title by then. Like,
no.
31 was the comeback for the Intercontinental title. Him relinquishing the WWE Championship happened like right after
right, because he retired with the IC belt.
No. I'm talking about the first injury.
Oh yeah. No. So he came back and wrestled at 31 is what I'm saying. But when he had to step away, he had just competed for the IC belt. That's when
31. No, all I'm saying is 31 is his second retirement.
Right. That's we're saying the same thing. We're splitting hairs.
So I'm saying that to say, like, you can include 31 on the back end of the entire Daniel Bryan story, but the impact of 28 to him being the guy in the company is about 2.25 years. Cena went on for the next 15 after this.
This is a fact. And this is why we have these discussions, people. So now we're on to the round of 32.
Amen.
All right. WrestleMania 36, the second night. Opening match, we have Chick Flair versus Rhea Ripley taking on Bulldog, Owen Invader, Yoko, Snake, and Ahmed Johnson. Definitely going Chick Flair and Rhea Ripley on this one.
I agree.
Charlotte goes back to NXT to challenge for the NXT title simply because she doesn't feel, and storyline, of course, she doesn't feel, and it could be a shoot, doesn't feel that anybody else is worthy of her, and not even worthy. She's already done the main event WrestleMania for a main roster title. Why not go back to NXT and prove her worth again? And let's see.
All because we refuse to make compelling creative for Charlotte, so everything involving her has to be a title match.
Right. So there's that.
Yawn, snore.
And then here we go. Triple H versus Daniel Bryan from 30 versus AJ and Shane McMahon from 33. What I didn't like about Shane McMahon and AJ from 33 is the fact that Shane McMahon dog walked AJ the entire match. And actually, I think AJ got pinned on accident, but AJ was the one that actually went over in the match. But it meant nothing after that. Triple H, Daniel Bryan. The winner goes to the main event versus Randy Orton and Dave Bautista for the main event, and then for the it was the WWE Championship, and which Daniel Bryan wins and has the biggest Yes-O-Mania moment ever. By all means, Daniel Bryan, Triple H, you make it to the next round.
Yep.
WrestleMania 9, Tatanka versus the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels versus the first match from WrestleMania 2, Don Muraco versus Mr. Number Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
I'm going to go to Tatanka HBK because I can more readily remember that in my mind. It was not a bad match at all. I want to say it ended in a count out.
No, I think the Muraco Orndorff match ended in a double count out.
I'm almost certain Tatanka and HBK ended in is either a disqualification or a count out.
And I think HBK lost via count out.
Yeah.
Because and if I'm not mistaken, wasn't Luna at his second for this match?
Yes. It's the debut of Luna Vachon. Sensational Sherry is at ringside accompanying Tatanka, which erupts into a massive lady brawl. I mean, yeah, there's more Hall of Famers involved in 9 than it is 2, just because they're outnumbered.
Yes, and now, but at the same time, though, Muraco and Orndorff is more of like it's not even a blood feud, it's just a feud. And they both, first, I'd be pissed if the opening match that I saw for a pay-per-view that I had to either share with a bunch of people around me or get like through my cable provider with an extra piece of equipment and then the double count out. I'd be kind of upset about that, entertaining or not.
Yeah, you got to give people victories on pay-per-view. You got to give clean, decisive winners.
Or not even clean, just decisive. You can be dirty as hell. Just give a winner. WrestleMania 11, which is the Allied Powers, Lex Luger and the British Bulldog versus Jacob and Eli Blue, better known to you as Ron and Don Harris. Going up against LOD 2000, Legion of Doom, Hawk and Animal, the Road Warriors, versus the New Midnight Express. This is a hard pairing because neither one of these matches have any viability long term. The best thing I can tell you is LOD trumps everybody in this matchup.
I'm willing to work that logic as well.
And the fact that you have Jim Cornette co-signing two people from WWE homegrown standards and calling them a Midnight Express, that's got to carry some kind of weight. No one cared about Ron and Don Harris in any stretch of the imagination as the Blue Brothers, as the security. Nobody.
That's Ron and Don Harris. That's a history fact for you.
And then two of the most devout racists ever was across the wrestling ring.
Wow. Well, then there's that.
And then Luger and Bulldog as a tag team that just shows you how WWE logic was working back at that time.
the Allied powers. It was such a fall from grace for both of them. Like, like Bulldog came back at SummerSlam in '94 during the Owen Hart, Bret Hart cage match, returning from a sojourn to WCW down south. Comes back, looks like he's gas. He looks like they literally hooked up gas to him and pumped it in. Like, so he looks like $2 million.
When you have those suits, when you have those sumo suits and make you look like they're just puffed, like you're a big swole guy or a big round guy, that's how both of these guys looked at that time. They both looked like they were wearing suits of muscly armor.
He came back looking like a full-fledged rock star. Then you basically go coast to coast in the '95 Royal Rumble. Luger, we've already seen his story. They tried to turn him into Hogan 2.0 with the whole. Basically, they took Real American and tried to make the Real American. Had him going cross country
out of the narcissist.
He went from the narcissist, then landed in a helicopter on a fight on a damn on a army boat. And literally tosses Yokozuna and turns face. And then all of a sudden he's wearing stars and stripes, everything, like wristband. He looked absolutely corny. He then from there lost about 50, 60 pounds, looked real different, cut his hair. So it's none of the WCW Lex Luger that you've come to know and love. Cuts all that stuff off, slims down, starts riding coast to coast like he's on a presidential campaign. Shows up to SummerSlam '93, wins by countout, and then they drop confetti from the ceiling like, oh my God, he's done it. Completely ruined from there. Then the double finish at Royal Rumble '94 with Bret Hart, which leads to the tournament at WrestleMania 10. He comes up super short again due to Mr. Perfect. Like, we're just waiting on the contract to expire at this point. Like, we are completely done with trying to make Lex Luger the guy. And they pulled the plug on him almost prematurely and certainly quicker than they should have. We could have turned him heel again.
Especially considering that he had already had a discussion with Eric Bischoff about a new show happening on TNT.
Because I'm totally certain that he was like totally disenchanted. Honestly, after WrestleMania 10, I think you should have really considered turning him heel. Like, I tried this America crap and it doesn't work, so I'm selling out to the highest bidder, and actually put him with the $1 Million Corporation.
If Sheik hadn't already been back at because Sheik was at WCW at the time, right, when this was going on.
No, this is what
95.
95. No, I think Sheik is still kind of he's
Colonel Mustafa.
Nah, that's 92.
That's what I'm saying. So I think Sheik had went back to WCW for a hot second prior to the Nitro era.
You might have gotten like a finger snap of Sheik in WCW because he's right back in WWF right alongside the Sultan, aka Rikishi.
The Sultan
at WrestleMania 13. So like that's not a.
So
he might have, but I think he was just chilling.
Truth be told, I think that would have been not you saying you would turn them heel and said screw America. That the perfect person to do that with would have been Sheiky Baby.
I didn't necessarily need to turn him into Sergeant Slaughter 2.0 because then that's something that's been done and overdone. Just make him a corporate shill, a corporate sellout. Because you got DiBiase running around buying people anyways. Like, look, I'm here for the money. I'm not here for America. I'm not here for your kids. I'm here for this check. And then you probably could have got an Intercontinental title run out of him.
That whole story's got way too much energy for this
that's tournament. That's the next rewrite. We need to rewrite Lex Luger's career.
Oh, I'm with it. So we can do that post-Mania. That's perfect. Because that puts us right around the same time we rewrote the $1 Million Man's career. So that's great.
I said sew it in.
All right. WrestleMania 25. The curtain jerker for this bad boy. Another Money in the Bank ladder match. Christian, Finlay, again, Kane, Kofi Kingston, Mark Henry, MVP, Shelton Benjamin, CM Punk. Versus
Who won in 25? Punk?
Yes, he did. And then this versus Bradshaw and Finley for the Belfast Brawl. By all means, I was at 25. I walked in during this match and said, "Holy shit!" The minute I walked in, Shelton.
I mean, I agree.
Shelton's doing dumb shit.
every time you put him in one of these, he's gonna do some dumb shit.
And I'm talking. I mean, like, I don't understand. And he looks the same now as he did then. We're talking almost 15 years ago.
That's one of the biggest travesties in sports, in sports entertainment, that Shelton Benjamin has never won a Money in the Bank.
Do you give him a title run? Because
me, yes. Or you could even make compelling television out of the fact that he wins Money in the Bank and has to decide whether he's going to try to challenge Roman or he's going to try to challenge Bobby.
So here, I'm glad you said that. Compelling TV. Let's Shelton win the Money in the Bank now. Because remember, 4 years ago, or it may have even been longer than that. 4 years ago, he re-signed. It was announced that he was re-signed to WWE, but never debuted because he had a torn, I believe, a rotator cuff or something, and was out for a year.
Mm-hmm.
And then he rehabs and finally shows up, and people forgot that he had been signed. I think that derailed some of the push that he was going to have. Now, don't quote me on that. This is all speculation on my point, on my behalf. But I really think that if you're going to bring somebody back after being in ROH with Shelton, with Charlie Haas recreating the world's greatest tag team, and Charlie Haas going into seeming the abyss of professional wrestling afterwards. Not saying that he took a downward spiral, but he came back home to Texas and decided to run his business. Maybe even step away from the wrestling business for the time being. But Shelton Benjamin still had that fire in him. So if you're going to bring somebody back that's known as a tag team specialist, who's also a singles great, so he's got to be a Hall of Famer. Whenever his time, he's going to be a Hall of Famer. He's a legit wrestler. And then you have a storyline that he wins the Money in the Bank in his mid 40s, is able to challenge Bobby Lashley at a time where we're expecting the return of Brock Lesnar, who is his college roommate, his original tag team partner in the Minnesota Stretching Crew. Like, this story, right? Wrestling fans will gush over this. Mm-hmm. I don't know if sports entertainment fans will care as much as wrestling fans. But like our age, both of our age demographics are different. Both of our age groups say, holy hell, this is money being printed right here. The kids, not so much. Now, my son, my 20-year-old, I would dare say that he'd be interested in this because he remembers Brock Lesnar, Shelton Benjamin, and Bobby Lashley from his childhood. But he might be the lowest of the bar in terms of distance from now. Honestly, I think that's going to be the best way to put a cap on Shelton Benjamin's career, even if he does it in a futile attempt. But you get all three of those involved in the storyline. Plus, Shelton still deserves retribution for what Brock Lesnar did to him at the Royal Rumble last year.
Yeah, I feel like they should end up working at least a program. Why not? You don't have a reason to tell me no. You don't have a sound reason to tell me they shouldn't work a program.
No, not at all. Not at all. But 25 advances.
It's 25. Yeah, it's 25.
Yeah. WrestleMania.
Not to mention the long-term impact of Punk winning his first Money in the Bank.
There's so much to this. There was just so many levels to it. Kofi became known as a daredevil. Shelton Benjamin was the biggest person to ever be considered a high flyer, probably in the history of this business.
Like, bro, that dude's LeBron size. What are you talking about? Just cruiserweight my ass. He's just athletic as fuck. Like, that's a freak of nature.
Built like a linebacker with no pads.
You feel me? You feel me? If Lawrence Taylor could do Lucha Libre.
WrestleMania 21, Rey Mysterio versus Eddie Guerrero. I don't even have to tell you who's after that. I mean, we can versus WrestleMania 27, Edge versus Alberto Del Rio. It doesn't even matter. Like,
it doesn't.
Nah.
Like, listen, they tried to recreate the Halloween Havoc 97 match, well, not even recreate. They tried to top it. And even with the spots that didn't go the way they planned it, it was still better than anything else.
And it's hard. That's hard to say this for something that was recreated from another territory or another company in WWE, because it's a different quote unquote style in WWE. They executed in spades on this one. Like, just another classic between these two. Plus, the best of friends, and they know each other so well over the years. Like, you couldn't have a bad match with these two, even if you got them drunk. WrestleMania 8, Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels versus Tito Santana versus WrestleMania 2000, Big Boss Man Bull Buchanan versus Godfather and D'Lo Brown.
I'm going to take WrestleMania 8.
I'm going to go with 2000, simply because this was the precursor for Buchanan and Godfather and what became Standards and Practices.
You mean Right to Censor?
Yes. whatever the hell you call it.
yeah. Standards and Practices is like late 2000s or early 2000s, late lifespan of WCW.
WCW, yeah. No, definitely Right to Censor, which was a spinoff of that. Well, it was great value at that point.
Yep. WrestleMania 8, this is the first time Shawn Michaels is working a WrestleMania as a heel. This is
solo.
This is on the heels of his defection from the Rockers. He's not totally solo because Sensational Sherry is with him.
Well, no, but he's a singles competitor.
Yes, wrestling El Matador, Tito Santana.
And Tito never gave a bad match.
No. Then pre-match, Shawn Michaels had already challenged the winner of the Intercontinental title match. So this is where his path towards his first IC championship begins.
So he popping big shit.
Yes. also, here's something funny. If you watch the match, go back on the network while you still can and go watch WrestleMania 8, the opening match. This is like I don't know if this is Botchamania worthy, but it's hilarious. When they come center ring for the instructions, watch Tito Santana. Watch his mouth. He tells Shawn Michaels, you got a booger in your nose.
That's greatness. That's greatness. I wish people we need more of these stories to come out. I know Vince has a bunch of them, and I'm sure that he probably has a memoir that's going to come out, post demise, post mortem.
Vince ain't gonna tell shit. Now that what I can say. You can call Vince a lot. You ain't gonna be able to call him no snitch.
Well,
he's not gonna tell it.
I don't think this is necessarily gonna be a snitch. I think he has his stories and how humble he is. I think that he's gonna release something after he passes that's gonna shock the world.
His children might.
But I think he already has it in the can, though, is what I'm saying. I could be wrong, but I digress. Let's proceed with this young tournament fella.
Let go.
WrestleMania 15. First time we see a triple threat match at WrestleMania. Hardcore Holly versus Al Snow versus Billy Gunn for the hardcore title. Versus
the spectacle of a hardcore title versus the car wreck of a ladder match.
WrestleMania 32, which you've already been through. Zack Ryder, KO, Ziggler, Stardust, Miz, Zayn, Sin Cara. 32. Zack Ryder has a moment. Stardust acts a fool.
Yep. You get a spotted ladder. You get Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn trading spots in a ladder match at a WrestleMania. Like that's something you might not ever see again.
And then Kevin Owens is like the body opposite of Shelton Benjamin. Doing dumber Shelton Benjamin shit.
Yeah, this is not long off the NXT roster prize fighter Kevin Owens.
WrestleMania 29, The Shield versus Orton, Show, and Sheamus versus WrestleMania 7, The Rockers versus Haku and the Barbarian.
Flip a coin. I don't have a preference.
I'm going to go, just because of who is involved, I'm going to go Shield because this is 29. Here we are going into 37.
But do you remember that match though?
Nah, but they were
it was hella underwhelming.
Wow.
It was They were super over. The match was, all right, let's get it over with.
But if we look at WrestleMania 7 going into 8, 7, this was the Rockers' last stint as a tag team at WrestleMania. Because in 8, HBK became, he had the super kick heard around the world.
Yeah, they're done right after Survivor Series of the same year.
Same year, yeah. Should we go to the coin flip?
I mean, okay.
Because
it's the Shield's debut. It's the Shield's WrestleMania debut.
Is this their debut?
I believe so.
Then that's definitely it's the Shield.
Yeah, I think it's their WrestleMania debut, and that's why they went over in like almost a squash.
Yeah, anytime I see Show, I just think of the most unnecessary heel face turns ever. Like every time he shows up on TV, he turns.
Then there's that.
WrestleMania 22, Kane and Big Show versus Carlito and Chris Masters. Versus WrestleMania 36. Oh, this is so easy. Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross versus the Kabuki Warriors.
Who you got?
I got 36.
I don't have a preference. I'll ride with you.
I mean, Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross at WrestleMania last year. Who's Alexa Bliss right now? And in the interim, we had a feud with Nikki Cross because of her interaction because of Alexa Bliss's interaction with the Fiend.
I mean, I don't disagree with anything you're saying. I don't feel like this match has anything to do with that.
It doesn't, but you don't have Nikki Cross in the way without them being a tag team.
Like all of the ingredients are present. It's just not the same cake. Like for real, like all of the ingredients you just named are present in both storylines. It's just the opening match of WrestleMania 36 did not make the same cake that those ingredients went on to make.
But keep it funky though. Kane and Show versus Carlito and Chris Masters. That cake don't even have an egg in it.
And people are stomping near the stove. Yeah.
All right. 19. Matt Hardy and Rey Mysterio. Matt Hardy versus Rey Mysterio. And then 34, we have Seth Rollins versus Miz versus Finn Balor. And the
odds-on favorite to take home the trophy today. I'm going 34.
There's not even a conversation. We spoke about it briefly. It's already advanced to the next round.
There you have it.
And possibly the following round after this one.
It's gonna be a tough out.
Number 4, 20-man over-the-top rope battle royal won by Bad News Brown, in which he holds the trophy up and breaks it because he doesn't need no stinking trophy. Versus 23.
One of the blackest moments in WrestleMania history.
Versus 23.
He may win just for that.
Rest in peace, Bad News Allen. Golly.
He may win just for that.
Ken Kennedy, CM Punk, Edge, Finley, Jeff Hardy, and King Booker in the Money in the Bank ladder match, which Kennedy wins, WrestleMania 23. Oh, man. So Kennedy, this is the first time someone wins Money in the Bank, and I believe does he lose the match, or he loses the Money in the Bank contract?
He got hurt and then lost the contract to Edge.
That's okay. I knew he did not win the championship with that. In fact, he was later suspended and then terminated.
Yeah, he lost it on Raw. So yeah, he had a rash of injuries. Ran into the Randy Orton train. Yeah, and the next thing you know, he's on the Injury Express on his way out of town.
The more I think about Bad News Brown, I'm going Bad News Brown.
Yeah, it seems like the right thing to do.
All right, WrestleMania 1. This is kind of hard to beat the first. Tito Santana, he's the first person you see coming out on WrestleMania versus the Executioner, who was played by Playboy Buddy Rose at this time, versus Owen and Brett. Tito, Buddy, nice seeing you. Going to 26, we have Show Miz versus Truth and John Morrison. R-Truth and John Morrison going into 35. One of my favorites right here, WrestleMania 35, Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar. If we're not going out last, we're going on first. As quoted by Paul Heyman, the God MC strikes again, and then you hear Brock Lesnar's music, and you're like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah.
And a beatdown ensues, and Seth Rollins still pulls out the Duke on Brock Lesnar, and by the time WrestleMania is over, Brock Lesnar is back to his ranch in Canada, already chilling under his lovely wife.
I'm taking Seth versus Brock. Thank you very much.
Already advanced. WrestleMania 31.
Hey, did we skip over that 1 and 10?
Did we?
Yeah.
No, that's it. Tito and Executioner versus Owen and Brett.
Yeah. So we put 10 over, right?
Yeah, of course.
All right.
Are you kidding me?
Just saying.
I wish I would advance Playboy Buddy Rose under all black mask outfit over Owen and or Brett. Are you kidding me?
How you love that Playboy?
Oh man. WrestleMania 31. Daniel Bryan versus
31. Stop playing with these people. Yeah, don't even waste no time with this.
Do we need to even give them what the other one was?
Pimp versus. I'm not even gonna do that.
Oh no. Oh,
manager versus employee match.
This from the second venue of WrestleMania 2, Fabulous Moolah versus Velvet McIntyre. Like, this is not even a conversation. 31 advances. From the third venue of WrestleMania 2, we have Ricky Steamboat versus Hercules Hernandez, managed by Bobby the Brain Heenan, versus John Cena versus Big Show, which again, this is Cena's first title victory in WWE.
Essentially, it's this coming out party.
Yeah,
I'm taking Cena.
It is.
It's historical impact. Match quality is going to be a push, if anything. And then favorite, I'll take this era. I'll take this era of show opening matches versus the older era of show opening matches.
No doubt, because these matches mean something nowadays. So I'm very curious to know who's going to open up Mania this year too. So, which we'll talk about. So that's it. We're down to the Sweet 16. It should be a pretty smooth sailing from here on out, brother. Let's see here. WrestleMania 36, Night 2. Chick Flair versus Rhea Ripley for the NXT Women's title, versus Daniel Bryan and Triple H. Daniel Bryan and Triple H, easy. Simply because Daniel Bryan has to play double duty and then goes to the end of the night and has the biggest closeout. Any disagreements there?
Nah, I'm with you.
All right. WrestleMania 9, HBK versus Tatanka, versus WrestleMania 14, LOD 2000 versus New Midnight Express. I want to go 9 because LOD, after this, we end up getting Darren Drozdov cycling in for Hawk. Hawk in a makeshift work shoot storyline regarding his substance abuse issues, which was very tastelessly done. HBK proves he's more of a dick. and honestly, like, even though this isn't the match that begets his Mr. WrestleMania run, you go back and start looking at his run after he becomes Mr. WrestleMania, whereas nobody profits from the LOD New Midnight Express issue. So I want to go HBK versus Tatanka.
I won't argue with you.
All right. Let's go 25. CM Punk, Christian, Finlay, Kane, Kofi, Mark Henry, MVP, Shelton Benjamin in the Money in the Bank ladder match versus Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero. This is, in terms of matchups, this is probably going to be the most interesting matchup in this round, simply off of the fact of the ramifications of both. This is Punk's Money in the Bank coming out, which led to a title victory. We also have Rey versus Eddie in what was another classic match between these two. I say flip a coin.
anytime you can get Ray and Eddie in a singles match at WrestleMania, it's a historic moment.
And I think this is the only time it happened, right?
Yeah, it's never happened any other time. Like they went into this with the idea of they were going to steal the entire show, and this is on a pay-per-view that also has Kurt Angle versus Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker versus Randy Orton. Like this is a stacked WrestleMania.
I'll do you one better. I'm gonna advance 21. Here's why. I just thought about the year. This is Eddie's first WrestleMania.
Still taking Ray and Eddie.
Yeah, I got Ray and Eddie too. Man, he talking about someone taken from us too soon. HBK and Tito Santana from WrestleMania 8. El Matador Tito Santana versus Ryder, KO, Ziggler, Stardust, Miz, Zayn, and Sin Cara from 32. Going 32.
Let me look and make sure we're on the same page. Yeah. Do that. Yeah, run that.
Run the play.
Run that.
29, Shield versus Orton Show and Sheamus versus Alexa Bliss, Nikki Cross, and the Kabuki Warriors from 36. So 29 versus 36.
Give me 29 for the win, please.
All right, I'm with you on that. I hope Kairi Sane's doing okay over there in Japan. Let's see here. From 34, Rollins, Miz, Balor versus Bad News Brown. Hate to do it to you, Bad News, but got some bad news.
34 to the house.
34 is moonwalking so far. Here's the interesting one. WrestleMania 10, Owen versus Brett versus WrestleMania 35, Seth versus Brock. Now, Owen versus Brett, more long-term ramifications.
Better match, better storytelling.
Yep, there it is. Seth, Brock, you're going to the house off of this when 35 is put to bed. 10 advances still. And this
made it a hotline. You made it a hotline. I made it a hot song.
This is a true wrestlers match too. You're talking about two of the greatest technical wrestlers to ever do it. While Owen was actually more of a high flyer, using multiple personas to get to where he is right now. 31, we have Daniel Bryan, Bad News Barrett, Dean Ambrose, Dolph Ziggler, Luke Harper, Stardust, R-Truth versus John Cena and Big Show.
Cena's gonna win historical impact as usual.
The match though is easily 31. That's not even a question.
No, the match quality is 31. Just the Daniel Bryan ends up winning, but as we know, nothing really comes of it.
Right. So I'm going to go for
it's a standalone piece.
Yeah. Even my favorite of the two is still going to be Cena versus Big Show, simply because it's Cena's first time. So
it's 2-1.
Yeah. There you go. And that closes out the round of 16. I believe, sir, we are in our semifinals.
Hey,
we are in the quarterfinals. Actually, they're about to set these semifinals. So the Elite Eight, if you will,
we mobbing.
30, Daniel Bryan, Triple H versus 9, HBK Tatanka. Tatanka,
30.
Nice meeting you.
30. Tatanka 6'9", get him out of there.
Rey Mysterio versus Eddie Guerrero versus from 21 versus the U.S. title ladder match from 32.
Intercontinental title match. From 32, yes, Intercontinental. It's IC.
Yeah, I hate to say it. I mean, it's a classic match, but had no nothing on the line. It's just a great opening match. 2 Hall of Famers, no doubt. One future Hall of Famer out of that. And but yeah, there was plenty moments, plenty spots, and it was overall a good match. 32 is advancing. 29, Shield and Orton.
Wait. You took 32 over Ray and Eddie?
You what? You didn't?
You remember what happened to the winner of this ladder match the next night?
Oh, damn! You had to bring that up, didn't you?
Of course I did.
let me rewind the tape here on that one.
I'm saying, bro, what are we doing here?
Eddie, and Ray. I hate that you brought that up, but that's what you're here for.
Actual factuals.
All right.
2021 might be in the running for best WrestleMania ever.
We haven't even had that discussion, and that's a discussion that we have to have. We can't do that in a tournament because it'll get knocked out just because like other things. Have we? Is that one of the tournaments we have coming up too?
Wait, say that again.
The best WrestleMania ever, because I know we've done best WrestleMania main events ever. We've done this is the best curtain jerkers ever. We haven't done the best WrestleManias ever, have we? In terms of overall card value,
we have not, and we should.
Book it. It is written, so it shall be. WrestleMania 29, Shield versus Orton, Show, and Sheamus versus 34. Rollins, Miz, and Balor. Not even a question.
Thank you kindly.
Oh, so this is going to get real interesting. Cena versus Big Show versus Owen and Brett. 10 versus 20.
Better match, 10.
Better match is 10. Long-term viability by no question is 20.
20. So which one's your favorite?
10. I like, my favorite of those two is 10, just because of how at the time we're still playing favorites versus heels. And this is the first time I laughed at a finish and was okay with it when Owen won. So I'm going to go with 10. Wow.
10 to shoot toddy, big head, little body.
All right, so here we are, the semifinals.
Just refresh.
You back up and running?
Yep, I believe so.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
WrestleMania 30, Daniel Bryan versus Triple H versus Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero.
This is where it gets difficult for me.
Match easy.
Match quality
is 21. Although Daniel Bryan was hurt. What didn't he get beat down prior to this match starting?
Storyline hurt.
But yeah.
So I don't know. He had his ass kicked all summer and all spring. So I don't remember if he got beat up beforehand or how that worked.
I want to say that there was a beat down prior to the match.
I know he got beat up afterwards.
Okay, that's what it was. Okay, so they tried to make sure that he wasn't going to win the match and still win it anyway. Ray and Eddie, it's just Ray and Eddie. You know, like that could main event without a title on the line. That, you know what? There it is. If you have the biggest WrestleMania moment of all time versus a match that could be a main event without a title on the line, I would definitely say that match should advance. I got 21, man. Suave, are you with me?
I mean, I like 21. I do. I respect everything about 30. This is where you got to make the tough decisions.
All right. Match quality.
Match quality is 21.
All right.
I mean, but it's not by much. It's just.
It just is.
Huh?
They say it's not that it's one is bad versus the other one. It's just it's not that it's bad or good. It just is. Match quality is better. Your favorite of the two?
Ray and Eddie.
There it is. That's 2-1. Even if you go with the long-term impact, that's 2-1.
You right. Run it.
I got Ray and Eddie. Ray and Eddie. You guys advance to the finals.
Oh, bro, it's about to get crucial right here.
Owen and Brett from WrestleMania 10 versus Seth Rollins, The Miz, and Finn Balor. You established Finn Balor, even though Finn Balor has already been a champion. This is Finn Balor's return to WrestleMania post-injury.
Yep.
Seth Rollins has already been established as a star. They're going for a
this is during that really hot period where people thought Seth Rollins should have been in the main event. It's like
Seth Rollins post-injury too.
Yes, because he missed 32 and came back for 33, but he was still hurt during 33. So this is now 1 hour marathon Seth Rollins. It's like fully restored, got his legs back up under him, literally and figuratively.
And probably didn't break a sweat during this match here. And this match was rough. This match
was the best heel work of Miz's career.
The best work of Miz's career. Not heel work, the best work. This was heel
character work and then in-ring work. It all came together for him. Now, obviously, he's the odd man out of the three, but he pulled his level up.
If a mountain was a career, this would be one of 2 or 3 peaks during a stretch for the Miz over about a 2-year period. In fact, this is talking smack to Daniel Bryan Miz. Yeah, we're getting here.
I'm not arguing with you at all because this ended up setting up the transfer away and where he goes to Raw to be appreciated. So I'm with you.
The match quality goes to. I mean, it goes to 10, but it's arguable. My favorite of the two, definitely 34. There's so many levels to 34.
Mine's 10.
Really?
Yeah. Like I say, the storytelling that took place during the whole night of 10 happens because of this match. This match set up the ending of the pay-per-view.
And also set up multiple pay-per-views.
That part.
We also have 34, which set up Miz. It could be argued that Miz's work at 34 is what has him just coming off of a world title victory and also stealing Money in the Bank.
Oh no, we totally say that, Miz being rewarded in 2021 is a result of what was happening here. They crowned him 3 or 4 years too late when he had cooled off already. Same thing with Seth, because Seth went on to have a pretty amazing Intercontinental title run. Several high-level, almost classics with Dolph Ziggler. Balor was just on something different. Like they went more Balor Club. He was doing more LBGTQ support. So you didn't get the Demon for this show.
This is also in New Orleans too. So yeah.
So I don't know how we didn't cash in on that. Now that I think about it, it's like, this is voodoo country and we're not gonna bring the Demon out.
It might have been.
Speaking of which, what was Bray doing? This is a totally separate question. What was Bray doing for 34?
Let's find out. Let me see if I can pull up that match card. Hold on 1 second here, because I have it nearby as I pull up my trusty Google machine here.
Because I know what he was doing for 30 in New Orleans, which he should have went over there too.
Let's not even talk about that.
Famo.
A travesty of justice here.
Famo.
WrestleMania 34 card. We have. Let me search for. Let me see Wyatt. He was in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal.
Was he? Oh, because that's where him and Matt Hardy became the Eaters of Worlds.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It's 10 for me though.
Oh,
it really is. It really is 10 for me. Like 10 just set up too much. The story was told immaculately. It made Owen Hart a world title contender off top. They almost wrestled a perfect match, as far as I can remember.
Even
without pulling up and watching it right now.
All right, I'll go with 10. There's no shame in 10 going to the finals. All right, there it is. Now,
that's a hell of a out too, because like you could have a not in finals tournament just between 30 and 34.
Oh man.
Okay, 30 versus 34. Who's better?
The match. 34 is better as a better match.
Okay.
30 is my favorite, and the long-term ramifications of 30 are also bigger.
Okay.
Simply
So
because
34,
and for no other
34.
reason. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I was gonna say 34 would have lost in the finals anyway.
But even with the payoff being the biggest WrestleMania ending ever, it's a shorter stretch versus Miz's career from 34 to now. 30 still wins long-term viability because of WrestleMania. So
I'm with you. Because the same reason I put 10 in the finals is the same reason we would have put 30 in the finals. So we set up the end of the pay-per-view, and then long-term storytelling is just the long-term for 10 is longer than the long-term for 30.
Now, we hate to do triple or gimmick matches for the main event, but we could have a triple threat between 30, 21, and 10, and that would be as interesting as this 21 and 10, in my opinion.
It would be, and I'm okay with doing it.
I'm not going to do it, but I mean, but we've literally just set the table for a triple threat simply by how we eliminated Owen. I'm sorry, not Owen. 34. Yeah. From being in the finals. So, but no, 30 will probably be the third place, and not by a lot either. Like it's a hair. But we have these finals here, man. We've got 21, Rey Mysterio versus Eddie Guerrero with nothing on the line. Owen Hart versus Bret Hart with nothing on the line from WrestleMania 10.
Yeah.
What happens, though, is WrestleMania ends with Bret holding up the title, Owen coming out, Owen setting up a match with Owen at SummerSlam. Eddie and Rey just have like monster careers. Rey selling merchandise that John Cena is saying, hey, I want some of that. Eddie is lying, cheating, and stealing with his with his nephew, who's also about the same age that could be his brother, Chavo Jr., winning tag team titles, stealing tag team titles.
Hola, Chavito.
You know what I'm saying? My favorite match of these two, man, literally just from a match standpoint, nothing beyond the actual match, Rey and Eddie, because it reminded me of Nitro. Owen and Bret was the first time we had seen anything like this.
Yeah, because Owen and Bret is 94.
Yeah.
March of 94, so it's early.
So it's the first time we had seen anything like this. Eddie and Rey we have seen before, but now we're seeing like post numerous surgeries, not WCW, on WrestleMania.
You had higher production value, but they had put a lot of miles on themselves since then,
and they still look damn good. And they're only
and it was phenomenal.
They're in their 30s, like, and I think Rey might have been still in his 20s.
Yikes, because Rey been wrestling since he was 12.
That part.
Bash at the Beach 96, Rey Mysterio was 12.
He was 14 years old with a J card. This man.
Wrestling psychosis on a pay-per-view.
I got Rey and Eddie for my favorite.
Okay.
As far as well, I guess there it is. My favorite and a better match.
Is your favorite and better match? Long-term impact for me is going to be
Owen Bret hands down.
Yeah, because like 20 minutes of content set you up for like 6 months.
Yeah.
The match and the ending of WrestleMania set up the next 6 months of story.
And let's be clear, six months in 94 is the equivalent of like
2 years.
2 years now. Because you had
quarterly pay-per-views.
Quarterly pay-per-views. You had weekly television if you were lucky enough to not have it preempted. And it was syndicated. So like you might go out of town for the weekend and be a week behind where you go out of town and come back and miss a whole part of a program.
And keep it real, this is 94. So the total of weekly television you getting might be 4 hours.
You get Monday Night Raw,
which might be 2
hours. In some cases, one.
And then on the weekends, you'll get Wrestling Challenge in the morning and Superstars at night.
And that's if you were still getting them because of WCW Worldwide.
Right. Like my childhood was like WCW Worldwide at 10 a.m. Then on another channel, Wrestling Challenge at 11 a.m. Then later that night, you get like local sportatorium, world class, like 10, 11 o'clock. Then at midnight, you'd get superstars.
Yeah, and see, by that point, superstars really didn't hold any weight, but you could still get a nice piece of a storyline within that. But the payoff was still on Mondays. And also, here's another part about that. On Mondays back then, Raw was being taped every 3 weeks. So the same thing that you would see 1 week, you wouldn't get a follow-up the following week. You have to wait at least 2 weeks to see a follow-up from something.
Unless they were going to put some vignette stuff in there.
Man, which still was very rare. Oh, man. So give me yours, man.
Long-term impact is definitely 10. Favorite, it's like a push. Like dead ass. Like it's a push. I'll say Ray and Eddie for the sake of argument. And then the last caveat is what?
Your favorite long-term impact in the better match.
Better match. Like I say, Bret and Owen was damn near flawless. Like there were no mistakes.
Eddie and Ray?
That I remember. Eddie and Ray had a few spots that like they frustrated themselves. Almost like that the ladder match in is it a ladder match the same year?
I think it was like wasn't that not King of the Ring? What was that summer pay-per-view? Not SummerSlam.
It was the ladder match is at SummerSlam, like Dominic's ladder match.
Oh.
I keep wanting to say 06, but I'm not totally certain if that's true.
Let's see here. Let's see when that was. Eddie versus Ray ladder match was 2005 SummerSlam.
Okay, so yeah, I'm saying I always want to go back to like 05, 06, but that's like the most cloudy time for me in WWE.
Man. Because this one might have to go to the people.
I mean, all it is that we're hedging on making a decision.
4:51 p.m. Central Time.
It's literally riding on what you say.
And that's what really, I mean, bruh. Canada versus Mexico. The CAMX connection is going to decide this whole thing. Because I'm thinking about even the world championship status of all the guys involved. Like Bret Hart's ended up being a 3 or a 5-time champion. I mean, him having this title reigns leads to 97, which is the best Bret Hart we ever got. The Bret Hart heel run, the anti-America.
Basically from SummerSlam 96 all the way through WCW's entrance in 98.
Right. So it's like if we're gonna go long-term impact, Bret Hart, has a rocket on him after this. Like he's carrying the company essentially.
Speaking of rocket, Owen Hart.
And then there's that. So I mean, Owen Hart is a viable contender for the rest of the time that he's with us. Multi-time Intercontinental Champion, basically just the dependable workhorse guy that if we can't find anybody else, let's go with Owen because we know he's going to show up to work every day. Whole thing. So
we get Eddie winning WrestleMania with a championship long term. Eddie passes away, and then Ray ends up closing out the following WrestleMania with a title victory, with Eddie's family at ringside.
Bruh, like the succession of events that come after both of these matches is ridiculous.
And it's matches like this one and the match from Nitro from Halloween Havoc that lead to all of these events.
Like I'm low key, like I don't know. I really do think we got to go to a coin flip because I'm not mad at it.
My
heart and mind my heart leads me to say, okay, it's 10, just, because of historical and nostalgia and all that. But then I'm like, I'm going to want to watch 21 when this is over again, just to see.
Like you can imagine 10 in your head. You've seen it so many times. You can imagine 10 in your head.
Right.
Ray versus Eddie, you're getting a classic, but how many times have you actually gone back and just acknowledged that match after the fact? I'll tell you once for me.
Before today, once. Very few.
Yeah, exactly. So, and it doesn't mean this any less your favorite. You know what? Coin flip, man. Golly, we're talking about this way too much. We're going to a coin flipper here, using something.
Coin flip time.
Doing something different.
Yeah, that's a good way to cover up for it. We're doing something different here.
All right. So the site that I'm using has a 50.02% ratio for heads, 49.98% ratio for tails. So that's pretty fair, would you say?
I feel like that's fair enough.
All right.
It's fairer than any shake you're going to get in America.
This is a fact. The top half of the bracket is Ray versus Eddie from 21. The bottom half of the bracket is Owen versus Brett. So heads is going to be Ray versus Eddie. Tails is going to be Owen versus Brett. You ready for this?
All right, let's get it.
One flip it is. It's going up, coming down. Your winner and the greatest WrestleMania curtain jerker of all time, Owen Hart versus Bret Hart from WrestleMania 10.
The suspense was killing me. I'm totally.
Yeah, how you do that, playboy? You like that?
I see you. I see you in your busy ass. Okay.
Yeah.
The suspense had me in tears. It's like, wait, what?
Next time with a broken pistol. That'll be some shit.
Tune in next time.
Tune in next week. Oh my God, he's got a chair.
Wow. That would have been the greatest ending in the history of our great podcast.
There it is.
We missed a whole opportunity to become heels.
We can always reshoot it.
have the
alternate ending.
The old taping days. Reshoot the angle.
Hey, the alternate ending. We'll sell it to those on the Patreon.
You want to know the answer? Subscribe to our Patreon.
Hit us with the Cash App.
Bruh.
Oh, man. The ideas just keep flowing here.
What kind of hoes would we be to start doing that? Like, we'll do a whole tournament, get to the end, and say, for the answer, for the winner of this tournament, subscribe to our Patreon.
Tune in next week.
Bruh, that's some boy.
USDA grade A bullshit.
Can you dig it?
Yes, indeed. All right, man. So that's that. It's spring again. Let's go ahead and get this thing moving, man. WrestleMania season is upon us, so hit
the Road to Broken Pencil Knowledge Tournament Series.
Show at brokenpencilbc.com, brokenpencilbc@gmail.com. With the shit. Mark my words.
Okay, go
you
ahead.
Can't write this. Broken Pencil Logic. Fuck the casual fan.
Yep.
And we had one more. We started.
We took one off now. I think we should officially welcome in Price Just Went Up.
You think it's time?
I think that's the one.
Price just went up. Price just went up.
Rob Murray, you've always been the unofficial fourth member of the podcast here. You are now a hashtag, sir. So welcome to the family officially. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Hey, Ron out here sliding on people on our behalf, bro. We got shooters.
It's amazing how all of these stimulus memes that are popping up are all coming from.
Price just went up. Price just went up.
And on that note, Suave, it's only right that we go out with this one.
For a nominal fee.
Soon to be
a phenomenal feat. I will slice off some of this broken pencil knowledge and put it on your plate.
Take us to the house.
Pencil pushers. Heads up. Pencils down.
And that's how you do a tournament, people.